Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. This edition of The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit PictureThisPhotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bringing your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs, huh? Well, the holidays are coming, and what better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry at the same time? Whatever gift or Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will just melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw, Picture This Photo Books, at 646-798-0809. That's 646-798-0809, or visit PictureThisPhotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, Bring your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or full, and always uniquely you. Don't forget the Mike Wagner Show is on all the 30 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter today, and check out the Mike Wagner Show merchandise, t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, throw pillows, tote bags, and more. Check out the MikeWagnerShow.com and also on Amazon at the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, including t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, and more as well, too. Check out the great books by me and Molson Zia, like Missing, Want, and Wrinkles on Amazon.com. At the me and Molson Zia store, make sure you do so today. And don't forget to donate to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also support us on Anchor FM as well as PayPal, and make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific lady based out of Atlanta, Georgia, who's been a therapist for over 15 years and is also a counselor. And she's the owner of North Star of Georgia Counseling, and she's author of 13 publications and 7 books. She loves to write a lot. And of course, she's also the creator of the ID Me quiz. And you're wondering, why is that? We're going to find out in just a minute. She wrote some books, which is called Being Mama, Dear Time, Dear Love, and You Got This Mama series, and a lot more. But I'm just playing, folks. That's another one. And she's going to be talking about her beautiful book in just 1 minute. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Atlanta, Georgia, the amazing, multi-talented therapist, as counselor, and author of the book Beautifully Bare, Undeniably You, Habiba Zaman. Habiba, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. And thank you for that incredible introduction. Thank you for having me today.
Well, thank you. And you got a great profile as well, too. And I'm looking forward to it. It says, oh my gosh, she's so amazing, just, being mama. And of course, you got this. And we're just playing too. And you got a great book called Beautiful Bare, Undeniably You. You've been a therapist and counselor for over 15 years. You're the owner of North Star of Georgia Counseling, and you're author of 13 publications and 7 books. You also the creator of the ID Me quiz. And before we get into all that, tell us how first got started, Habiba.
I'm sorry, tell me again.
No, tell us how you first got started.
Oh, how I first got started. To be honest with you, I knew I wanted to be a therapist from when I was a child.
Oh, wow.
I was able to feel other people, their emotions. I was always curious about everyone and everything, what made them tick, why they behaved the way they did, why they decided the things that they did, including my family. And I was just always watchful and curious. So that part, it's part of my personality, it's part of who I am. But if you look into why I became a therapist, that is 100% the responsibility of my counselor, my school counselor, Mrs. Bunch. I was in 8th grade, and I was going through a rough period in time. Most 8th graders, I'm sure, do,
yes,
raging.
Yours truly, like many of us, it's always rough. Even like the more popular jocks, the cheerleaders, and all that. It's like nobody ever has an easy 8th grade, and if you have, well, something's wrong. So
right. I mean, even now, my oldest son, he's going into 8th grade. We just did the open house and everything, met the teachers, and I'm like, thank goodness you are not where I was. Like, your life is so completely different than what mine looked like at the time. And I'm happy to have been able to provide that for my children. But I was walking to class one day, and Mrs. Bunch was this tiny, tiny little human. She was shorter than me, and I'm 5'3", so very short. And she just walked up to me, grabbed me by the arm. I had never spoken to her before. We knew of her because she's the one that you go to if you ever need anything. I didn't. But she did. She grabbed me by the arm and she pulled me aside, and she just stood there and looked at me. And she's like 4 foot something, this powerhouse of a human being. And she's just looking at me, and I'm just like, what did I do? What did I do? What happened? Why am I in trouble? I didn't do anything. And so I'm freaking out on the inside. And then she takes my hair, puts it behind my ears so she could see my face, and gets a little bit closer. And she says, whatever it is, it's not going to matter in 5 years. You just need to hang there for 5 more years, and then you'll be fine. Really? And she lets me go and keeps on walking like it was nothing.
Really? What made her say that? I'm just puzzled by the whole thing.
I know. I was dumbfounded. I was standing there, and I'm thinking to myself, even the closest people to me, my best friends, my family members, my parents, didn't know what I was going through. They didn't see it. I was great at being invisible at that time. And I preferred it that way. And so for someone to have seen me, and then not just seen me, but seen through me, that felt like a superpower.
Wow.
And I knew at that time that whatever superpower she had, I needed it. I wanted it. I wanted to be able to give to somebody else what she gave me at that time, which was hope.
Wow.
And I hadn't had that in a very, very long time for an 8th grader, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of teachers come up to 8th graders. What I notice is that they'll say something that'll either make you low or this or raise you up and everything. But I've never ever heard of that where they just take you and pull you like that and everything. Of course, you try that nowadays. It's like you probably get hit with some kind of lawsuit, harassment. It's like, don't touch my hair and all that. So it's just like when I heard that, I went, what? Right. It's like, I've never heard of it.
Then. Yeah, it was a very different time then. It was, the teachers were definitely more involved. But the school counselor, I mean, she did. I will tell you right now, she had a superpower for her to be able to see through someone like that and feel something that otherwise was impossible to see. I worked very hard to be invisible, you know?
What was the reason for becoming invisible?
Life was just hard. I had a tumultuous upbringing. There was a lot of shift in caregivers. You know, my parents did the best that they could, but it was a divorced family. I hadn't known my mother. And at this point I had moved to go live with her for a couple of years. And it wasn't what I had ever hoped that it may or may not have been. My father was in my life and then he wasn't. And then I grew up in Bangladesh, you know, with my grandparents who took care of me, because my father wasn't able to at the time, so that he could provide a life for me. I mean, everything now looking at it as an adult was decisions made so that I could have the best childhood and upbringing that I possibly could have. But it also created a lot of instability and a lot of trauma. And so at that point in life, the trauma was just more than what my 12-year-old self could handle.
Wow. Okay. And of course, if you were to tell your 12-year-old son, it's like, problems you had in 8th grade, what advice would you give him about how to handle, problems in the 8th grade? What advice would you give to him? Or do you think the 8th grade problems are like the same as yours, or like have them gone down, or have they been like magnified worse?
A lot of the things are the same. In that middle school age is such a, there's so much change happening. There's changes in cognition, there's changes in perception, there's changes in acceptance, there's body image changes. There's so much upheaval going on. The advice that I do give to my clients, and of course to my children, is that, you just embrace every new transformation. It's new, it's exciting. It's going to be another step in the direction of who you're becoming. This is not who you are. This is, you can change the course at any given time. And so again, a lot of what she had told me, whatever's going on right now will not matter in 5 years.
That makes perfect sense. And of course, I was talking to somebody that the new norm these days, it's like, accept yourself for who you are, don't bother changing. But then there's people out there that really want to make a change as well, too. So, I think we're here to change that. And what do you think that one precise moment was simply influence you into what you're doing today? Besides your 8th grade teacher come up and doing what you did.
After she did that, it was just, I just hung in there. I decided then to change the course of my life, if you can believe that. As a 12-year-old, I realized what most 12-year-olds don't, right? I mean, we feel like we're fixed in whatever household we're in and whatever life pattern we're in and whatever direction somebody else is saying that we need to live. And at that point, I was like, well, maybe I don't have to. And I was able to change and leave that situation, which was a huge blessing. I did. I left the abusive situation, and then it was a tunnel vision of, I'm going to finish high school, and I'm going to, and I did a lot of psychology classes then, and then I did my undergrad in psychology as well, and sociology and criminal justice.
Wow.
And then, and then I went into grad school. I was a teacher there in between for a little bit to see if I could do that as well, but that wasn't the right path for me. And so counseling became my thing.
That's really interesting too. And of course, we'll talk about your books as well too, along with more of your counseling background, also the creator of the ID Me quiz. We'll talk ID Me quiz. We'll talk about that. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by a picture of this photo books, where remembering is a key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss grandma's meatballs, huh? Well, the holidays are coming, and what better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry at the same time? Whatever you get for grandma's recipes, or just because those smiles and tears will just melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw, picture this photo books at 646-798-0809. That's 646-798-0809. Or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books. Bring your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. And don't forget to check out the Mike Wagner Show over 30 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter today. Check our merchandise at the MikeWagnerShow.com and also on Amazon as well under the Mike Wagner Show podcast. For more great gift ideas, 24/7, 365. Check out the Mia Molson Zia store at Amazon with great books like Missing, Once, Wrinkles, T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, and all kinds of goodies. Make sure you check it out. And don't forget to donate to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com with a generous gift. Also support us on Anchor FM/support and PayPal. Make sure you do so today. We're here with therapist over 15 years, counselor, and the author of Beautifully Bare, Habiba Zaman, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk about some of your books and your latest as well, too, and who are some of your favorite authors growing up?
Growing up, it was Judy Blume.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little bit later was more towards Danielle Steele, romance. What can I do? Right? Fairy tale. It was wonderful. And then these days, it seems like Mark Haig. I loved the 3 or 4 books that I've read of his. And then Kristen Harmel. A lot of those.
That's really interesting. And of course, you had some books out there like Being Mama, Dear Time, Dear Love, and more. And what first got you inspired to write some books?
Well, the children's book, But I'm Just Playing, was a class project. And my professor is the one that got that published. He was determined. His grandkids loved it, and he thought it needed to be published. And I was like, yep, nope, this was a class project. I'm done. Thank you so much. And then I get this letter in the mail, a couple of months later, saying that it's picked up by, I believe it's Penguin Books, maybe Ex Libris. Ex Libris is a branch of Penguin. And they were like, yeah, you're getting published. And I was just like, what is happening? And
come on, wake me up. This isn't 8th grade.
That's how that one got published. And the one that came years later, because that was in grad school. Mm-hmm. The other one came, 10 years later, I want to say, something like that, or 8 years later, was my co-author, Shalon Irving. She was a colleague of mine, and we had met in numerous networking events. She was in public health, and she was inspired by women's studies. She was passionate about it. It's also what I'm passionate about. I was running women's empowerment groups at the time. And so she would come and join some of mine, and I'd meet her elsewhere. We got very close. And over a couple of years, I believe 2 or 3 years of just watching me work and do the things that I was doing, she took me aside and she was just like, we're going to write a book. And I was like, right.
just like that. Yeah. I mean, take advantage of it. Why not? Maybe thinking about the Bill Cosby skit. It's like, no one told him this.
Right. But I mean, I was just like, yeah, no. And she was like, yeah, no, we're doing this. And she was at it for a year, Mike, a year. She would come to my office. We would hang out after sessions or in between sessions on the weekends that I was there. We would have lunch together. And she's like, no, we're doing this. We're doing this. And then finally, about a year later, she said she hit it where it needed to be hit, basically, for me to say, okay, fine. She told me, she was like, the work that I've done with you, I've been able to get more in this 2 years than I did in the 15 years that I've been in therapy. She's like, and we need to give that to the masses. We need to be able to help people who are afraid to go to therapy. We need to help people who don't believe in therapy. We need to help people in a way that they're just on the teetering of maybe that I need to make a change. And she's like, and we can't do that if you don't tell me what you're doing. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, fine. Fine. And I was like, but I don't write. It's not something that I do. And she's like, that's okay. You don't have to write. Just talk to me. Mm-hmm. Talk to me, and then I'll make the rest happen. And that's how we got started.
Wow.
And then we have Beautifully Bare, Undeniably You.
That is amazing. Well, before we talk about Beautifully Bare, you got some other works as well, too, like Being Mama, Dear Time, Dear Love, and you've got this Mama series. And tell us more about those. And if you got some other books and publications out there which haven't been listed yet, feel free to talk about those as well.
Thank you. So after the first book, one of the publishers that I had gone to, she wanted to take my book, but I didn't go with her company. I went with Austin McCauley, and Kylie Hansen and I became friends, and she's the owner of Golden Brick Road Publishing. And so she had reached out to me a couple of months after meeting her, and she was like, hey, I think you'd be a great fit for this series that we're doing, which was You've Got This Mama. And so I met up with Sabrina Greer, and she told me, she was like, this is what we're doing. We're doing a co-authored book, and it's going to be everybody's struggle with motherhood, the real life look at motherhood, not the romanticized nonsense,
Right. Yeah. I mean, the romanticized nonsense, it's more in social media these days. And
yes.
in my opinion, it's just like, that's what's really letting a lot of people down. That and marriage and everything else. It's like, oh my God, like if I was given chocolate and roses, I'd be like, that's crap again.
Well, it is. You're absolutely correct, because we get this romanticized version, this not real look at it. And then we who are not living up to that standard feel as though there's something wrong with us. We're not living up to what we are supposed to be. So the failure must be us, because it's not matching what everybody else is showing, that's what motherhood is supposed to be. That's what relationships are supposed to be. That's what growth and success is supposed to be, right? Mm-hmm. All these shoulds, we never live up to them. And so they wanted to create a very real look at it. And I mean, I wrote in 3 of those books, the You've Got This Mama, You've Got This Mama 2, and You've Got This Boss Mama, which is on entrepreneurs, mothers who are, trying to balance life that way. And
Boss Mama is interesting.
Yes. Yeah, that was a funny one. I don't read anything that I write because I don't want to see it.
I don't blame it. It's like you start comparing the others. It's like, what the heck am I doing wrong? I think a lot of us too are like that too. It's like, I got a secret I reveal on the Mike Wagner show is that I don't listen to my own podcast. It's like, just let it be, like the Beatles say, just let it be.
Right. I mean, these writings, all of my writings, I've decided that it's the same things that I tell my clients. If I won't allow myself to be vulnerable with them and for them to see all of my crazy, how can I expect them to be that way and accept those parts of themselves? And so my books are that way. They're very raw, very real, very honest. I mean, who wants to go back and read that about themselves again, right?
Oh, yeah. It's almost like you're going through your scrapbook, several times. What happened to you in the 8th grade and everything's like, I mean, yes. who really wants to live that? That's a big question. Right. Social media seems to encourage it. But that's what happened. 1 year, 2 years, 5 years ago. It's like, really?
Exactly. So that was the You've Got This Mama series. The Dear Time, it was very similar, and my writing style is the same. My son actually told me this the other day. He reads all of my blogs. He reads everything and proofreads them. And then he just enjoys my writing. And he told me, he was like, even if you didn't have your name on it, I would know who wrote what. I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, I can hear your voice when I read your writing. And I was like, oh, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Well, it sounds like your son's got a gift, which is good.
He's definitely not a typical 12-year-old.
Uh-huh.
And so Dear Time is about the construct of time and how we are taught by society and family and the media that by a certain age, by a certain time, you should have checked off a certain amount of boxes, and how destructive that can be, and how it sets you up for this whole imposter syndrome kind of thing. So my portion on it is the construct of time. That's what I wrote about. And then Dear Love, same thing. My portion of that one was losing yourself in the process of loving someone else, and what that looks like and why that happens and how to, recognize this and get out of it. So I think those are all the ones that have been published. I'm working on something right now. It's called Learning to Love.
Okay.
And this one is about understanding how we define love, how we search for that love and belonging in society, in our friendships, in our relationships, what that looks like, where that came from, why we love the way we do, the attachment styles that we have, where that came from. So it starts off with trying to understand what it looks like and how it manifests in your current life.
Oh, wow.
And slowly working towards recognizing that may not be the best thing. Mm-hmm. That we're not actually living out our narrative. We're living out something that someone else wrote for us based on the life that we've had up to this point. Mm-hmm. And then figuring out how to change it.
That's rather interesting. You brought about the attachment styles. What are some of the attachment styles that you cover? You can just head upon a few. You don't have to, tell all, maybe just a few and get an idea.
Sure. The ones that I focus on are in general, the three different types. You have the secure attachment, you have the avoidant attachment, and then you have the anxious attachment.
All right.
And I joke about this with my clients. I'm like, if you look at my two kids, you can definitely see the two different ones. One is secure and one is definitely avoidant. And why, right? I think it's important to understand why and what that looks like. Because when we're triggered, our attachment style is what's going to come up. The avoidant is going to be like, okay, I'm triggered. I'm I need to step out. I need space. They shut down, they push away, and then they go hide in a corner. And then you've got the anxious ones that are like, no, please don't leave me. I'm triggered. I need you here. I need your comfort. I need your security. I need safety, right? They bring people more closer and they need that comfort. And secure, I'm obviously overgeneralizing the crap out of all of this. But the secure attachment is more of I know how to ask for help when I need it, and it's okay to be vulnerable. And then I also know how to rely on myself when I need to, because I know I can rely on and trust my own abilities.
That's rather interesting. And when can we expect the new book to come out?
I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. I just want to say this, please tell us.
So I'm more than halfway done with the book. I should be finished with the book by the end of September, October to be safe. And then as soon as I, get a publisher, it'll be out there.
That's very amazing. And where can we find all your books at, with Being Mama, Dear Time, Dear Love, and all that? Where can we find all your books at?
They're all listed on my website, habibazaman.com. I have my programs, I have my books, I have the ID Me quiz. I have everything on there, anything you can think of.
That's amazing as well, too. I'll talk about the ID Me quiz and the new book, Beautifully Bare, Undeniably You by Habiba Zaman in just 1 minute. We'll talk about that. You'll listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor, The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Also brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is a key ingredient. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotobooks.com. We'll be back with therapist and counselor and author of Beautifully Bare, Undeniably You, Habiba Zaman, after this time out. This edition of The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. how beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bringing your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're back with therapist and counselor and the author of Beautifully Bare, Undeniably You, Habiba Zaman, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And tell us about this brand new book as well, too. And what would be the primary message in the book?
So the primary message is learning to love yourself and how to do it. You had mentioned earlier, society is pushing the love yourself the way you are, accept yourself the way you are, you don't need to change, versus the other side that's like, I need to change, something has to happen. And my belief system falls right in the middle. Like, yes, we should definitely accept who we are based on where we've come from. I am the way I am right now at this phase in my life because of the life that I've lived. It's taught me certain lessons. I have brain pathways, the neuropsych behind it. But that doesn't mean that I necessarily have to stay there. Mm-hmm. I do have to honor the shadows that led me to where I am today, right? And the positives as well as the negatives and the whole picture, right? If you look at a reel of negatives, you can't just pick and choose which ones you want to focus on. You have to see the whole thing. And so I do believe in accepting all of that and recognizing that also does create some dysfunctional behaviors and coping mechanisms and the way we see the world, right? Our experiences color the lens of how we see everything and why we choose the life we do, why we choose to behave the way we do. And that doesn't mean that we have to sit there with it. We don't have to swim in it.
Right. Exactly it. And of course, it's also about the journey of discovering one truest self. And how does one discover its truest self? And how do you know you hit the truest self?
Is it matching up with your values? Our values are formed in early childhood. The things that are important to you, what triggers you, what doesn't, what you fight for, what you're passionate about, all of those things. I mean, like I was saying when we started, I was a counselor from a child. Right? Like I was an advocate from the very beginning. Even when I was 3 years old, I'd act a complete fool in trying to make sure I fought injustice and things like that. And that's who I am still. It's just in a different way. So there were certain things that I found value in, that I was taught, that I believed in. And as we grow and as we mature, we just add to that pile. And in being aware of what that looks like for you and where that came from, you can then decide, you have all of this in front of you and say, okay, is the life that I'm living right now, is it matching those values? Is it matching who I am? Because that's the compass, right? It's a cheat sheet of what's important to us. And does our life mirror what's important to us? And if the answer is yes, great, keep it going. Add more to your pile. And if the answer is no, not really, then how do we change that so that they do match each other?
hmm And what are some of the other variables that are associated with it? Like say with, from the outside or say like song lyrics or anything like that. What are some of the other variables that affect?
Whether how you find your true self.
Correct. Yes.
Um, as far as the other variables, I mean, you have to look at what's around you, right? The relationships that we have, the connections that we make, the people that we feel comfortable and safe with. Is it because of something that it reminds you of? Is it because it allows that freedom to grow? Is it because you're being accepted, or is it because you feel like you're having to race to keep up to something? Are you holding a mask up most of the time, right? If we're holding the mask up most of our lives, that's a clear indicator of you're not comfortable in being who you are, whatever that who you are is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Being aware of all of those things. Awareness is just key.
Mm-hmm. And do you think social media is also causing people to put up a mask or become more vulnerable and accepting?
No. Well, let me rephrase that. I do think there are plenty of influencers, I think that's what it's termed, that push for that, right? No, just own it, whatever it is. Dance freely, love freely, be whoever you are. They do push for that. I do, however, feel like the majority of it is skewed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see a version of people's lives that's not necessarily 90% of what their lives look like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my publisher initially made me do the Instagram, and then she made me have it be public. It's not right yet, but she did.
Here's my dog, here's my cat, and here's my kids, and this is what I love to eat.
Right. And I was just like, I'm not doing that. That's not who I am. I don't believe in surface level, superficial things. It grates against my nerves.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, no, exactly. That's my point. She's like, you have pictures, and I do, because my children spy on me. My office door is glass, so they'll take pictures of me or whatever. And in the wintertime, I have my unicorn slippers, and then I have a crown that I put on my head as I'm doing my paperwork.
Interesting.
And so they'll take pictures of that, or I have pictures where I'm in my pajamas with my children with no makeup on, or what my hair naturally looks like, and my kids call it Mufasa, right? Because it's very much like Mufasa from Lion King. Very big, very curly, very wild. And that's what my social media looks like. And I was like, I don't want everybody to see that. Like, why would you want that to be public? And she was like, because that's what's real. I was like, all right. I mean, it's your brand, it's your company. So if you're okay with all of that being out there, then I'm fine with being, because that is who I am. Mm-hmm. Right. Or even the coffee at 7:00 because I have third shift starting with the babies to put them to bed soon.
Oh, wow. Okay. You are running like a boss mama. It's like third shift. It's like first shift, second shift, third shift, 24/7 weekends. And
yes.
Yeah.
Life of a single mom. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, social media, I think it's trying to help. I don't think the rest of social media has caught up yet, especially for the young ones that are more influenced by what they see and what they believe to be real.
Mm-hmm. And that's fascinating as well, too. Of course, many of us are on a journey to discovering true self. And where can we find your book, Beefly Bear, Undeniably You at?
Again, my website, habibazaman.com. I have it listed there. But also, I believe it's everywhere else. It's at Target, it's at Barnes & Nobles, it's on Amazon, I think. If you... The fastest way would be to go through my website, though. I know definitely there.
We certainly do so. And before we go here, you're also the creator of the ID Me quiz. And I find that very fascinating. And tell us more about that. And how'd you come up with the ID Me quiz?
Thank you. So the point of the quiz is at the end of it, it shows you your attachment styles, kind of like what we were discussing earlier. Mm-hmm. And the questions are based on how much of yourself you're accepting, right? My clients, I've made some of them do it, and they're like, yeah, we know who came up with this quiz. Even if like, I recognize this. What is this nonsense? But I hope to do it. It's fun. It's only 10 questions. So it's not difficult per se. In theory, it's not difficult. But it asks questions that makes you stop and wonder. One of the questions is, in any given situation, Are you able to identify 5 different emotions and the reasons behind those emotions in any event? And most people would say no, right? Because who stops and thinks about stuff like that? I do. But most people don't, right? They don't sit there and label off 5 different ones and the reasons behind it and the triggers behind it, unless you've worked with me as my client. So it's those kinds of questions. Or another question is, do you ever catch yourself changing who you are or limiting who you are based on the environment that you're in? And if the answer is yes, it swings the pendulum a little bit away from the secure sense to either avoidant or anxious. And it's just a method to recognize change or a need for change, depending on how you score.
Huh. That's rather interesting. And I'll tell you, one of my attachments is coffee. Got to have coffee.
Cheers.
Yes, it's cheers. That's right. And how can people get a hold of you for your services and for counseling? How can people reach you?
So for services, it would be northstarofgeorgia.com, my website. It's on Google, and it shows all of it. My phone number's on there. My email's on there. Or my direct email would be habiba@northstarofgeorgia.com. My website, again, habibazaman.com. That one has all of my Facebook and my Instagram handles on there. Those are the only 2 that I can manage right now, to be completely honest with you. Twitter is not my friend. So, those are the 2 that I have. And then my weekly blogs. You can sign up for the newsletters, and every month I have an article with a situation, an issue, a possible issue, and then what to do with it. So mini therapy sessions every month.
That is fascinating. We'll have to check it out. And just a few more minutes with author Habiba Zaman, the Mike Wagner Show. Beautifully Bare, Undeniably You. And just a few more minutes. You're fantastic. Love to have you back on. And what can we expect from you in 2021 and beyond, Habiba?
Definitely the publication of my new book, Learning to Love. And after that, anything. Honestly, I've decided that I'm going to leave the door open and be curious about what life could look like, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to say yes to whatever opportunities come in. I never thought I would be an author, and now here I am, published. Shocking to myself. But we'll see. I'm leaving the door open for that one.
Sounds good. We're certainly looking forward to that. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Biggest influence in my career? That's a twofold question. So, or twofold answer, I guess. My professor, Dr. Brack, the one that got my book published, believed in me 1000%, kicked my butt all the way through grad school, because I definitely respond to tough love. Believed in me in ways I never thought I would be able to believe in myself. So, big thank you for that. Shalon Irving, the co-author and friend, unfortunately, she's no longer with us. She passed away 3 weeks after we finished the manuscript.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. And so she's been a driving force in making sure that book is out there, and her mission, her drive to influence change. I do everything in my power to make that happen. And my children, every day. I told them about you today, and they're like, cool, yes, that's great. Like, it's no big deal. And I'm like, you don't understand. It's a big deal. And they're like, you got this, Mom.
And you did a great job. I got to say that you did a great job. And, they're so proud of you. It's like, put that on your wall. Got to say that. So.
Thank you.
And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
At this point is take a look at yourself, whatever it is, with no judgment, with the same grace you would give anybody else. And, be curious about who you are today and see if that's who you're wanting to be in another 6 months. If it's not, let's get started. If it is, well, congratulations.
And that is fantastic advice as well, too. Once again, author Habiba Zaman of Beautifully Bare, Undeniably You, therapist, counselor here on the Mike Wagner Show. Habiba, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back in 2021 and beyond. Don't forget to keep in touch. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your books?
The easiest way would be my personal website, habibazaman.com. All of my social media is on there. The books are on there. The programs are on there. The quiz is on there. Even the link to my private practice is on there. One-stop shop.
That's fantastic. Looking forward to it. Once again, Habiba, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor. Keep us up to date. Love you back in 2021 beyond. Don't forget to keep in touch. You've been absolutely terrific. And we definitely wish you all the best. And then one day we have to find an attachment for something.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Picture this photo books, where remembering is the key ingredient. Preserving memories, keeping the memories of your loved ones alive as they reach in and touch your heart. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whether it's a gift of past holidays, grandma's recipes, long ago moments, or just because. Those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809. Once again, that's 646-798-0809. Or visit picturethisphotobooks.com.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.